Okay, so we are looking at linear pairs and vertical angles. So first of all, the linear pair postulate says if angle 1 and angle 2 form a linear pair, then the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180 degrees. We've used these in proofs, but we haven't used them in an algebra kind of approach. So these two angles, this angle right here, angle QRT, and this angle right here, angle TRS, are a linear pair. You can assume by the picture they're adjacent and they form a line. So that means that they add up and equal 180. So the angle QRT is 3x plus 5 plus angle TRS, which is 10x minus 7, equals 180 degrees. So from here, it's just an algebra problem. You're going to combine like terms. And now we're going to solve for x. So we add the 2. So we get 13x equals 182. Then we divide by 13. And so we get x equals 14. So they ask us for x, that is our answer. But let's also look at how we need to find each of the angles. If they ask us, hey, what is the measure of angle QRT? Well, QRT is 3x plus 5. And then what we're going to do is where we had x was 14, we're going to plug 14 in. So we can type that in our calculator, 3 times 14 plus 5, and that's 47 degrees. Now if they wanted to know the other angle, we could say the measure of angle TRS equals 10x minus 7. And so once again, where x is, we found out that x was 14. So when we plug this in, 10 times 14 minus 7 is 133 degrees. Okay, and at the bottom of this foldable, it talks about the vertical angles congruence theorem. The vertical angles congruence theorem says if angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles, then angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. So since these two angles, angle TPS and angle QPR, are vertical angles, then they're congruent. And if they're congruent, that means their measures are equal to each other. So that means 148 degrees is equal to 3x plus 1. You can then solve for x by subtracting the 1 from both sides. You get 147 equals 3x. Now let's divide by 3, and we end up with 49 equals x, or x equals 49. So if we want to make sure we're correct, we can find angle QPR, which remember was 3x plus 1. All right, so if we plug in x as 49 and type in our calculator, 3 times 49 plus 1, we get 148 degrees, which is good because the other angle was 148 degrees, so they should work out to be congruent if we did everything right. And that's a good way to self-check.